In this video, we'll discuss the process of continuous integration and compare some of the prominent continuous integration tools. Now, continuous integration, as we discussed in the previous titles of this DevOps journey, is essentially the practice of automating code builds, tests, merging and checking into shared repositories in real time, and it's a core convention of DevOps. The continuous integration process generally begins after the developers have committed the codes to be built, and this process involves building the codes, perform static analysis and unit testing. The tested codes would then be deployed in a user acceptance testing environment and provisioned for release. The sample illustration figure depicts a simple process of continuous integration. The developers will commit the codes and code changes to the repository, from which the continuous integration server will begin building the codes, perform unit testing and static code analysis, and pass on the build artifacts for deployment. Now that we've explored the concept of continuous integration, let's further explore how continuous integration works. So continuous integration is basically a software development practice involving frequent commits for source code changes. The frequency could be on a daily or weekly basis. The sample illustrates how a continuous integration process works. Whenever source code changes are committed, a continuous integration server like Jenkins will intercept the committed changes, build or compile the code, and create release packages or artifacts. After the packages or artifacts have been created, the continuous integration server will begin performing static code analysis, along with unit, integration, and user acceptance testing. Post completing the test and reviews, the feedback will be passed to the developers. If further fixes or changes are required, the developers will further make changes to the codes, and the entire iterative cycle will repeat until we get bug-free codes or packages that can be deployed in production. Now that we've recapped what continuous integration is and how it works, let's explore some of the prominent DevOps tools that we can use to implement continuous integration in our software development workflows. There are various tools that we can use to implement continuous integration, of which the prominent ones include Jenkins, TeamCity, and Bamboo. We'll explore the features and capabilities of each tool in the preceding slides. We'll begin by exploring some of the prominent features and characteristics of Jenkins. Now, Jenkins is a simple and extensible Java-based open-source continuous integration tool that can provide continuous integration services in the software development process. Jenkins can be easily installed on various operating systems, and it can even be hosted in the cloud to manage distributed builds. In most implementations, we would find internally hosted Jenkins being adopted to avoid security breaches. Jenkins provides ease and convenience in terms of upgrades, mainly because of the frequent and speedy release cycles, wherein new features and enhancements are introduced. We also get very simple and easy-to-use user interface, using which we can create build jobs and pipelines and execute them. We get a rich set of plugins and supported documentations with Jenkins, which in turn makes Jenkins quite flexible and easily extensible. We can essentially extend the features of Jenkins using the comprehensive number of plugins that Jenkins provides. Plugins ensure that we're able to integrate different types of tools and implement continuous integration and continuous delivery. Finally, when working with Jenkins, we get an easy and simplified mechanism to configure the setup environments from its user interface. Now let's explore some of the essential features and characteristics of Bamboo. Bamboo is essentially a commercial and on-premise continuous integration tool, which is provided by Atlassian, and it supports close to 100 remote build agents that provides the capability to run batches of tests in parallel. Bamboo provides a lot of important features. For example, it provides built-in Git branching workflows that help developers to automatically detect, build, test, and merge branches in order to deploy codes continuously to production. It provides built-in deployment projects that we can use to provision continuous flow of builds to test environments and automatically release builds. It provides built-in Jira software and Bitbucket server integration that can help developers get end-to-end visibility into release implementation, quality, and status. Apart from these, Bamboo also provides support for REST APIs, test automation, along with simplified and easy enterprise-grade permissions for security. The final continuous integration tool, whose features and characteristics that we'll explore, is the TeamCity, which, like Bamboo, is another commercial continuous integration and continuous delivery server that was established by JetBrains. TeamCity provides the capability of automatically detecting tools with its support for various frameworks and tools without the need for any plugins. TeamCity is quite extensible and customizable. It supports and provides various ways to interact, customize, and extend the servers in use. We get flexible approach for configurations with TeamCity, as there are multiple approaches or mechanisms supported by TeamCity in order to enable reusing or multiple utilization of settings. With TeamCity, we also get bundled and out-of-the-box IntelliJ IDEA, ReSharpener code analysis, and inspections for Java and .NET codes, along with some of the most prominent code coverage engines. They, in turn, help achieve better code quality and seamlessly track and analyze code qualities. TeamCity also provides comprehensive integration support for almost all the prominent version control systems. And finally, we also get flexible user management mechanisms with TeamCity, whereby we can assign user roles, sort user into groups, provision different mechanisms for user authentication, along with logging facilities for all the user actions. Now that we've explored some of the prominent features and characteristics of the continuous integration tools, let's briefly compare each of the tools to understand how they stack against each other. The comparison table is quite explanatory, but we'll run through each of the comparison elements. Jenkins, as mentioned earlier, is open source, while TeamCity and Bamboo are commercial. In terms of ease of use and setup, TeamCity is the easiest to set up and work with, followed by Bamboo and Jenkins, respectively. TeamCity ranks highest in terms of built-in features that these tools provide, while Bamboo is not that far behind. The same cannot be said for Jenkins, which ranks quite low in this criteria. When we consider integrations and plugins, Jenkins' ecosystem of plugins is quite massive and cannot be compared with TeamCity and Bamboo, whose integration and plugins are quite far behind Jenkins. In terms of support, TeamCity and Bamboo are equally ranked ahead of Jenkins. They both offer equally better support than Jenkins as their commercial tools with dedicated support structures. All three of the integration tools, Jenkins, TeamCity, and Bamboo, are extensible on the cloud, and they can run quite well in cloud environments.